Everyone loves to have high tier hotel and airline status, but unfortunately, we can't earn top tier status in every single program. So today we're going to talk about what our strategy is for 2025. My name is Sean, and I'm here with my co host.
Hi everyone, I'm Sherwin. On today's episode of the Credit Card BS podcast, we're going to discuss our airline and hotel status strategy for the upcoming year, beginning with airline status. Now, Sean, would you agree that airline status generally is much more difficult to maintain than hotel status?
Absolutely. And I think the reason for that is, airline status in and of itself is not something you attain to aspire through the process of attaining it. What I mean by that is, the goal of luxury travel is not necessarily in absolute terms to just fly more flights, right? There's a point of diminishing returns. Maybe taking like two flights a month, that's great, right? Taking like eight or nine, not so much. Compared with hotels, right? Hotels, staying more nights in hotels, the diminishing returns in terms of I don't want to do it is a much higher cap than with flights, right? If I'm staying, let's say, 15 nights a month in a hotel, that could actually, in theory, be a very, very nice thing if I'm staying in very, very nice hotels. But if I'm taking, 10 flights a month, even if those are really nice flights, it's not really something I necessarily want to do, right? It's not really an enjoyable process in and of itself in the same way as hotel status. Would you agree with that, Sherwin?
Yes, absolutely. And I think one thing we're seeing more happen is airline status qualification thresholds are now being moved toward more of a how much you spend dollar wise threshold rather than like how many flights or segments you take. Uh, which for people who aren't actually spending a lot of money on flying, who aren't like business travelers or consultants, is much harder to obtain than for hotel status, which you can get through shortcuts like credit cards that often directly already give you a good amount of status, or and because hotels calculate their status based on the number of nights stayed rather than like dollars spent. There are ways to like mattress run your way around it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, unfortunately, Marriott Ambassador is the only one that I believe has a direct like dollar minimum requirement. But yeah, you're right. All the other ones you can just mattress run. There's ways to get it without directly spending money. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with our airline strategy for next year. So Sean, are there any statuses that you will earn or maintain?
Yeah, so the two right off the bat that are the easiest for me are going to be United Silver status and Aeroplan 25K status. Now, neither of those I will be qualifying for directly through the airline program. Both of those will be earned because I will be maintaining my Marriott Titanium status. And so, Marriott Titanium now comes with Aeroplan 25K, and it also officially comes with United Silver. So that's very nice right off the bat. Two airline statuses. Now, they're not high level airline statuses at all, but, usually some entry level of airline status actually does like qualify you for the priority lines, priority baggage, free check bags, free seat selection, most of the base level perks. So that's nice. Now, in terms of like higher tier status, I currently do have American Airlines Platinum status. Thank you, Chris, on the Discord server. But that's expiring next year, and there's no way I don't MS on the AA cards, so I don't have right now an ability to maintain AA status easily. Um, there's no way I'm gonna organically earn any airline status. I do have Alaska 100K, but I don't. I need to match that into something else because that also expires at the end of this year. I don't know what I'm gonna match it for yet because the problem is like I can match it to something, right? Like an airline will give me a pretty good status for matching Alaska 100K, but most of these matches aren't really matches, they're challenges. So they require you to do like X spending, X number of flights, something like that. And I won't even qualify for most of these challenges. Not that I don't fly enough, but it's that when I do fly, I'm paying points. Or if I'm paying cash, it's certainly not for premium cabin. So it would take me a lot of flights to qualify for these challenges. So that's kind of the tricky part for me with earning airline status. And this is the thing I've always thought about with airline status that's kind of funny is airline status, right? They want you to spend a lot of money and they want you to fly a lot of flights. And if you're doing that, you get perks that are similar to flying in premium cabins. That's kind of the entire point, right? When you have airline status, it's like you're flying, you get all the treatment of flying in the premium cabin before and after the flight, just not during the flight. But the ironic part is that a lot of the people that earn these statuses, they do it by spending a lot of money. And they spend a lot of money because their company is putting them up in premium cabins. And so you start to question, what the hell is the point of this airline status if I'm always in a premium cabin, right? If I have Delta Diamond, let's say, but I always fly Delta One, it's basically useless, right? It's really not like all that different than having no status because, I mean, sure, I earn more points or whatever, but you know, Delta flying Delta One basically gives you all the perks that you want. And so, on the other side as well, like let's say I am flying economy normally. My God, I want to shoot myself if I'm actually like organically earning United 1K or Delta Diamond or something, but I have to fly like non-premium cabins to earn it the whole way. That's a lot of flying, and that's a lot of non-premium cabin flying. That's like, dang, like my heart goes out to you if you have to actually organically earn these through no spending or just through like flight segments or something in non-premium cabins, because that is a lot of flying, and your company is really cheaping out on you there. But yeah, that's my airline status strategy. How about for you, Sherwin?
Yeah, I would say airline status is really only not only obtainable, but also only worth it to obtain if you're actually flying a lot. And I am not one of those people who flies very frequently. Domestically, I generally fly Southwest unless something else is cheaper, mainly because I'm drawn to their free checked bags as well as the fact that their flight credits don't expire, so I can feel very comfortable changing and canceling my flights really easily. And those don't require me to have status, whereas other airlines, I'm going to be paying for a check bag unless I have one of their credit cards or have their status. So that's kind of why I like Southwest and why I don't chase airline status. And also because there's no easy shortcut to do this with credit cards. If you were to earn status through credit cards, you need an astronomical amount of spend. Even the easiest one to get via credit card spend, American Airlines, still requires a lot of money to even get any meaningful status tiers. And I think unless you're like a business owner that has that much spend going through it anyway, it's such a huge opportunity cost to be putting my spend on those cards. So, I'm not really flying that much. I can't put that huge spend on airline status. So it's not really obtainable for me. And I think I also agree with Sean's point. For me, when I fly internationally, I like redeeming my points directly for business or first class. And by flying those cabins, they already come with the perks that you typically enjoy of status. So ironically, status is most meaningful when you're flying economy. So, for those reasons, I'm not chasing airline status.
No, that all makes sense entirely. Yeah, you already have the perks from flying business or first. Totally agree.
All right, let's talk about hotel status. I think, personally, for me, this is a much more interesting topic because there are greater ways we can get to these using credit cards and other tricks. So, Sean, why don't you go ahead with what your plan for the upcoming year is?
Yeah, hotel status, I agree with you, is like a lot more interesting, and because it's also a lot more aspirational. Because let's say you have a lot of money. Okay, let's say you're a really wealthy person and you travel a lot at high class hotels. Okay, you're paying $1 to $2 grand per night for super high end hotels. Hotel status can still benefit you because maybe you're paying for $1,000 a night suite, right? $1,000 a night room. But you want to get the suite, but you don't want to pay like $3 grand a night for the suite. Hotel status can help you get upgraded to suites. So what's nice about it is that like even if you're someone at the very like if you're super wealthy, right, you're paying cash directly for all of these things, you can still benefit from hotel status. Whereas on airline status, not so much because you're already getting all the perks anyways. And so yeah, for hotel status for me, my kind of core bread and butter two statuses are going to be Hyatt Globalist. That's the most important one. So I'm gonna maintain that. Hopefully, I mean, I've already this year. I'm gonna hit the 69 threshold this year. I'm hoping next year I can hit it again. So I get all the milestone rewards. And I have full globalist. So I am hoping to maintain that. That's a really useful status. Hyatt Suite Upgrade Awards alone make it really really interesting and competitive. I'm also gonna try to maintain Marriott Titanium. I have 40 starting EQNs from the Brilliant plus the business card. This year I shot well past the 75 night total. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the same next year as well. And as I said before, titanium's nice because it does come with two entry level airline statuses now, and so that's a really cool perk of a way to like, get some airline perks without going too much into it. But yeah, titanium I found pretty useful. Honestly, like in Asia, it's really good. Globalist in Asia isn't as good as you would think. It's good, don't get me wrong, but I've noticed I'm not getting like sweet upgrades that often, anyways. And so titanium is a really nice status to have just because of so many properties Bonvoy has. And if you're in Asia or somewhere where there's actually like really good treatment, it's going to be very nice. It's not going to be like the U.S. version of titanium where it's like you're getting a slight view upgrade and that's it. I'm going to also maintain Hilton Diamond. That's just because the Aspire card. That's the easiest one. IHG Platinum from the IHG Premier card. Wyndham Diamond, which matches the Caesars Diamond from the Wyndham Business Earner card. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess technically I'll also have Choice status because I have the Choice Premier Hotel card from Wells Fargo. So I'm going to have like Choice Platinum, I think. Not that I'll ever use it, but I will have it. But yeah, the main kind of bread and butter of this strategy is Hyatt Globalist and Marriott Titanium. How about for you, Sherwin?
Before I talk about mine, I want to ask you if you can only pick one of these, which one would it be, and why?
I mean, it's either Globalist or Titanium. It really depends, to be honest. Like what my like okay for the let's say I only like just had this for 1 year. If it's like I fully earn the status, I mean I have to pick Globalist, right, with the suite upgrades and the free nights and all that. Globalist, the thing about those suite upgrades is to be able to confer if you're booking far out, those suite upgrades are ridiculously powerful, right? Because you're able to confirm yourself guaranteed a suite, like a year in advance for up to a week per cert. That's ridiculous. That's insane, right? So yeah, I would pick Globalist. The only thing that is tricky is like, depending on certain destinations, there are places that like if you want to stay in a really nice property, there's just no Hyatts, or there's just no Hyatts at all, even if you don't care about the quality of hotel. But yeah, if I had to pick one, it's going to be Globalist. Yeah, number two would be Titanium.
Sounds good. Okay, I'll share my hotel status strategy for next year. So, unfortunately, I won't be maintaining Hyatt Globalist. Our family has had it for 2 years now, mostly through the 20 night challenges. And it just wasn't realistic for us to hit the 60 night threshold, which is a high threshold if you're not like a consultant or something. I do believe Hyatt Globalist is just like has the best perks among all the hotel loyalty programs. So I'm sad I won't be able to keep it beyond February. But hopefully I might get helped out with some guest of honor awards, which from like friends or whatever, which are much more concrete going forward. That's a perk as a globalist where you can gift a limited number of these awards to your friends and they will enjoy globalist status for their stay. So perhaps I could take advantage of that. But I will say, like, my family's travel schedule has like winded down a little bit more this year and probably for next year as well. As we're busy with other things, so it just didn't make sense for us to chase that. And even if we got it, we wouldn't be able to use it as much as we would want to for it to be worth it. Marriott is not a status I really chase. I mean, I have their Bonvoy Boundless card right now, which gives me silver status, which is basically nothing. And it might become gold status if I upgrade to the Ritz card, which I probably will do next year. I will also have Hilton Diamond status because that's the easiest one to get through the Hilton Aspire card. That was pretty nice if you're abroad, but in the US, it's not as meaningful because everyone and their mother has Hilton Diamond status through credit cards. So it doesn't get you as far. For example, in the US, the food and beverage credit is only $50 on the high end per night, which is not a lot. Whereas like Hyatt Globalist will give you like the full breakfast where you can order whatever you want. So that is sort of a limitation of Hilton Diamond, but that's what it is. And then the one status where I will have a higher tier than Sean is IHG Diamond, which I will maintain through next year, and I'm earning that through spend from the credit card. It's, I would say, among the top tier statuses, other than Hilton Diamond, is the most achievable with spend. I think it's like $40,000 a year. spend. So I will have that. The main perk of that is you get free breakfast for two, and it's a full breakfast, so closer to the Hyatt type of benefit. So, and then obviously I'll have Wyndham and Caesar's Diamond with the Wyndham business card, but that one is pretty easy to get. So Sean, thoughts about kind of where I'm at with hotel status?
I mean, I think the IHG Diamond is really nice. That's something I'm sad ever since that, that weird challenge or that weird like match they had, that expired. Yeah, IHG Diamond is one that I'm jealous of because their breakfast perk is pretty good. They don't seem at most of these properties, especially not in the U.S. at least, they don't seem stingy at all about the breakfast, which is really nice. Yeah, I think IHG Diamond is actually a really interesting status, especially because their portfolio has gotten a lot more interesting with their expansion of Regent hotels. Regent is kind of the equivalent of like Park Hyatt or Ritz Carlton for Marriott or like Waldorf Astoria. I've stayed at some of the new Regent properties in Asia, and my God, are they good! Like top tier hotels, better than most St. Regis's out there. And so that's what kind of makes it interesting to have like IHG Diamond is like, wow, it motivates me to stay at these Regent hotels more. Yeah, it is a shame that you'll lose Globalist, but I totally understand how like the 60 nights is kind of insane. And it also like the one thing I will say is interesting is how Globalist is because of this new guest of honor system is like a lot less important because like you can get friends to send you guest of honor certs, right? You can get people to send you guest of honor certs. It's not that difficult, and each one works for stay up to 7 nights, I believe. So if you have, let's say, like 5 Hyatt stays a year, getting a couple of guest of honor certs isn't impossibly hard. It's certainly easier than maintaining Globalist, on your own account. And so it kind of has created this weird incentive for it almost disincentivizes certain people to get Globalist, right? If it barely made sense for someone before and they'd like mattress run, it honestly probably doesn't make sense to get Globalist unless you really need the suite upgrades or something. Because if you can get these guest of honor certs, you're getting literally the exact same treatment. The only like real difference is that you cannot simultaneously apply a guest of honor award to a free night certificate or a guest of honor award to a reservation if you want to put a suite upgrade award on it. However, you can do either of those things if you use the legacy guest of honor system, but that goes away in February. So for 2025, if you want to use a free night certificate or use a suite upgrade award, you cannot simultaneously have guest of honor applied. But overall, yeah, I think it's a really solid strategy.
Yeah, I will say I still do think IHG Diamond is inferior to Hyatt Globalist in several ways. Because other than like the free breakfast, I don't think the perks are that tangible. Like I think their upgrades are not as like consistent or generous as Hyatt as much. Like I've not had like insanely good luck with IHG Diamond, whereas Hyatt Globalist consistently will upgrade you to standard suites if they have that availability. They also don't provide like free parking on free nights or waived resort fees. So I still think Hyatt is the most generous. Now, speaking of Hyatt, I do have some guest of honor awards that I will not be able to use by the time they expire in February of 2025. And because guest of honor awards are now giftable, I will be giving away a few of them to some lucky subscribers. So if you are interested in receiving a guest of honor award and the globalist benefits that come with it for your stay, leave a comment down in the leave a comment in this video and tell us, number one, where you're going to use the guest of honor award at, and number two, what benefit or benefits you're going to be most looking forward to when you use the guest of honor award. And then based on those responses, we will select a few lucky winners and notify them. Sean, anything to add to that?
No, that's awesome, though. I'm sure our viewers will really appreciate that, especially if they haven't had a taste of global status before. They'll get one try and they'll be hooked.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Okay, so that's all we have for today about our airline and hotel status strategy for 2025. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. If you're interested in opening any credit cards, please consider using one of the links down in the description below. It greatly helps support our channel. And Sean, why don't you plug our Discord?
So if you want to connect with an elite group of award travelers and credit card enthusiasts entirely for free, check out the Travel Lane Discord group at the link in the description. You will learn a ton, I promise you. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.